and welcome back to On Air. I'm so glad you could join me. Now, with politics beginning to dominate the news and the political landscape here in direct selling, as you know, last year, Amway's co-founders, the DeVos family, finally admits that they have been one of the largest soft money or secret money donors to the Republican Party for years. And now, the breaking news that Melaleuca owner Frank Vandersloot donated $1 million to the pro-Romney super PAC Restore Our Future, with $750,000 of that coming from 3 different divisions of Melaleuca Asia. What is going on here in direct selling as our owners begin to buy political favorites and trying to buy the White House? Today, we have special guest, Direct Selling Live political blogger, libertarian blogger, Lisa Wilbur, the Avon superstar who is also a politician in her own right, having run for political office at least 6 times in New Hampshire. Today, we talk about politics and its influence on direct selling and what the Direct Selling Live political bloggers means to the future of direct selling and its information going forward. Today, here on Air.
When my mother used to sell Princess House.
Joined Amway that night.
Norma siempre vendía cosas de Avon.
Oh, it must have been around 1935.
But those knives were amazing.
The one lady's name was Mary Kay, and I said, oh, cosmetics will never sell on Party Plan.
Was a single mom and created these hair care products for black women and became the first self-made millionaire in the United States. I just think that's extraordinary.
Welcome to On Air. Today we have a very special guest. If those of you who know, we've been talking about bringing a lot of the political bloggers, Lisa Wilbur, Ruth Webster, Gene Braunstein, and Kelly Foote, whatever we could track him down. We've spoken with Gene Braunstein, our liberal progressive, and Ruth Webster, our independent, the distributor for Soul Purpose Lifestyle Company. And with us today, it is an absolute honor, as usual, to have a very dear friend of mine, Lisa Wilbur, one of the top distributors over at Avon. She's been a distributor with them for some 30 years, just an iconic figure in not only Avon, but throughout the entire world of direct selling. Welcome, Lisa. Today we're going to talk a bit about the political bloggers. You are representing the libertarian view of all of this, and in doing something like this, I know we touched upon it on a completely different topic the last time we had you on, but today is just pretty much dedicated to this. From your standpoint, as it relates to politics, why do you think this is a discussion you want to get involved with?
Well, I'm actually really involved in politics, and a lot of it is because, do you know, women weren't always allowed to vote. And it actually hasn't been that long, which frightens me a little bit when I think about it. And I meet so many women in my work every day that aren't registered to vote, that don't take the time to learn about it. And it does affect us in direct sales massively, because things that happen, you know, regulations and rules and how we get taxed affects our lifestyle. Because I wrote this down as a note, I think most of us in direct selling, we're looking for that freedom lifestyle. And the things that the government decides when they limit our freedom or have government intervention directly affects us in direct sales. And it frightens me that there aren't more women that are out there at least voting or at least learning about the issues. That actually frightens me, that men will think that we don't want to vote.
Now, you said you run into a lot of women who don't vote?
Yes. And even not just in my work, but as a candidate here in my district, I actually stood out in front of the door getting petitions, because as a third-party candidate, I have to get 150 certified petitions to get on the ballot, where Democrats and Republicans just pay $2 and they get on. But I have to go stand outside. And I had women actually say to me, I had a woman come up to me that I know really well. She said to me, "Women like you just don't know your place."
Wow. Wow.
I know.
Now, you know, I'm a big advocate for women's rights. I'm a big advocate that I think women should determine their destiny is the best way that I could put it. I think that for all of the people, and this is shocking what you just said, for all of the people who have sacrificed so much to not only allow blacks to vote, but women to vote, and all the things that we grapple with, to have someone say, well, I think women should pretty much just go back to the way they were, is pretty shocking.
And it was
shocking.
a woman that said it to me. A woman said it to me.
Well, I will say this. Because she's in America, one of the great things about being an American is you can make that choice. You have the freedom of speech. You have the freedom to get on your soapbox and say yes or no. I agree with something, and a lot of people paid the price to allow her to be able to make that choice, and that's a really, really good thing. From the political blogger standpoint, I want to ask you, you're blogging from the libertarian point of view. What is it from the libertarian point of view that you feel will benefit distributors in direct selling? Why should they even consider reading and watching the things that you submit?
Well, actually, I think the whole idea of the libertarian point of view is under-researched, especially by people in direct sales. On that same day that woman said that to me, I had a gentleman say to me, what party are you with? I said libertarian, and he said, I don't vote for no Libyans. He thought I was a Libyan. And I meet people every day that don't know there's more than two parties. So I really wanted to represent the thinking segment, I guess. I wish people would think more about the choices and not just blindly follow what their friends are doing or blindly follow what the TV tells them to do, but know that there are more choices out there and there are more political opinions than two.
So the opinions and the things that you will be writing about over the next 10 to 11 months, how, other than the distributors knowing more about the Libertarian Party and how it could help them, are you looking to bring something else in terms of vision, in terms of information? Because I don't think most people realize you are a politician in your own right. You've run for political office in New Hampshire a number of times. So you are, in fact, a bona fide politician.
Right, and I think that just like the whole idea that women are not participating like they should, people that have an alternate view other than Democrat or Republican are sitting it out rather than getting in and participating. Mm-hmm. And it all happens just because of what people say to me. I actually had the Republican candidate that gets voted over and over in my district come to me when I decided to run, and he said, you'd get elected a lot faster if you ran as a Republican. And I said, I'd get a car loan a lot faster if I told him I was a man. But I just want, I guess to me it's just important for everybody to know that there are a lot of choices, and just like in direct sales, there's a lot of companies that you could represent. And there's a lot of different viewpoints. And to me, it's important, and that's why I actually run. Mm-hmm. I don't actually have a big chance of making it because people don't think that they're choices, and they think somehow I'm taking away from the other guys.
No.
Well, haven't you heard that before? A candidate came to my office and said to me, because you're running, you may make me lose. You're taking votes away from me. And I said to him, how do you know you're not taking votes away from me?
Go, girl.
You know what I mean? I could be getting this if not for you.
Well,
But, I don't think it's right to just box everything into two.
Well, what makes that such an idiotic statement is if people believed in what he had to say, it would make no difference who was running against him. If he was really standing up for what he believed in and he gave a good message and he was able to get people to understand it, it wouldn't make any difference. We're getting ready to take a break here, but when we get back, I want to talk to you about something that happened last week as it related to Frank Vandersloot and Melaleuca making national news with his $1 million donation to the Romney Super PAC, Restore Our Future. Because that, along with the with Amway's DeVos family, really puts direct selling front and center in the conversation as it relates to politics and its influence in direct selling. When we come back.
When my mother used to sell Princess House.
Joined them way that night.
Norma siempre vendía cosas de Avon.
Oh, it must have been around 1935.
But those knives were amazing.
The one lady's name was Mary Kay, and I said, oh, cosmetics will never sell on party plan.
Was a single mom and created these hair care products for black women and became the first self-made millionaire in the United States. I just think that's extraordinary.
Welcome back to On Air. We have our special guest, Avon superstar Lisa Wilber. Not only has she been with Avon for 30 years, but she is a politician out of New Hampshire. You've run for office how many times now, Lisa?
6 so far. This year will be 7.
This year, so you're on the ballot again this year. And when now, have you already been on the ballot this year? Because you're in New Hampshire. You guys just had your, well, no, you just had the presidential Republican Party.
It was just the primaries, right?
Yeah.
So mine will be in the fall with the presidential election, and I have to get 150 certified petitions to get on the ballot. I'm still at that point, so.
Well, you should know that everyone who's come on air, their career has just taken off.
Okay.
So, if this is any indication, your political light is about to really, really begin to shine after after this. Speaking of a light shining and all of this, you and I, we've had the conversation in the past that we think direct sellers and direct selling in general should be more aware and more involved in the political conversation. I've even had the same discussion with DSA President Joe Mariano. In December, on air, we did the breaking story about the DeVos family, Rich DeVos and Betsy DeVos, finally admitting that they've been the largest soft money or secret money donor to the Republican Party for years. And just last week, well, let me back up. And after telling that story, I got a little bit of blowback. People were telling me, Keeper, this is not a conversation we should be having. No one wants to talk about politics and direct selling. Why are you doing this with DSL political bloggers? And I said, because it is a conversation that whether you know it or not, you're in it. Your company owners are all over it.
Yeah,
and
wow.
Last year, pretty much, or the last week, pretty much played that out as Melaleuca owner. And I want to get your take on this from a politician standpoint. Melaleuca owner Frank Vandersloot donated $1 million to the Romney Super PAC Restore Our Future. Now, this is where I want to get your opinion. He didn't just donate $1 million as an individual, because as you know, you can't. It's a $2,500 cap. Mm-hmm. But he donated $1 million in 4 $250,000 chunks. One, Melaleuca Inc., and then 3 other divisions of Melaleuca in Asia, which $750,000 comes from Melaleuca Asia, outside the U.S. And you and I haven't talked about this, but your thoughts on Melaleuca owner Frank Vandersloot pretty much putting direct selling front and center in the political conversation.
I wonder how his distributors would feel about that. Mm-hmm. That's because it basically does represent them.
Well, what he said, and I'm watching the news and I'm saying, I can't believe he said this. He said, our company would like Mitt Romney to be the president of the United States. And I'm thinking, what? You didn't just speak for Melaleuca, the company. You spoke for every distributor, every employee. When you made that statement, how can you do that? And I, like you, thought, uh-oh, what are his distributors going to say?
Well, that is a little touchy. Maybe that's why you end up getting people giving you feedback, because they're not checking with their field. They're just out there pushing their own agenda, which, I mean, it's fine, but I'm surprised he was willing to just lump everybody together and say that was for them.
I was absolutely shocked. He was one of the co-finance chairs there in Iowa. But certainly one of the good things from a direct selling standpoint, the issue with Amway's DeVos family and now Frank Vandersloot of Melaleuca, and he's a billionaire many times over. He can say and do whatever he wants to do. But this really puts us in the conversation. At least that's what I think. What do you think?
Well, I mean, it seems like they only think that there's 2 parties. Of course, that's what I immediately go to, because people that earn a whole bunch of money are going to tend to agree with the fiscal side of the conservatives.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I was thinking
more along the lines as this is the opportunity, certainly that I've been looking for, to get direct selling involved in the political conversation.
Yeah.
Now that he has really put it out there. And as I said on air a couple of days ago, that now that he's done this, all gloves are off. We can talk about anything that he does and really begin to start to talk about direct selling as distributors in terms of getting into this conversation, because he lumped all of his distributors in there.
I think they've always been involved, just not on our level, because always the companies have always lobbied on our behalf when it hopefully that was in our best interest as well as theirs. Like when they tried to have that rule about they were going to license us and tax us separate, with the salesman. I know our company fought that. I almost had to go testify for that. But I always hope and keep my fingers crossed that they're looking out for me too.
Well, I don't know. I don't know because
he is a big cattle rancher, and I know he's not thinking about a single distributor. Well, he's probably thinking about a distributor. I don't mean to put it that way. But when he goes and puts $1 million or whatever he's going to drop into a political party or a super PAC, he's thinking about the overall business impact that it's going to have on every business that he has.
Right.
And so if I'm a distributor, I'm pretty much like you. I have to back up and re-examine, because I kind of look at it like this. I've just investigated a company. I really love their products. I love the management. I love my upline. And I'm out building my business. And, of course, the company is making the profits that they should, because we're in business together. That's the way it goes here. We're entrepreneurs. But then come to find out that politically we are ideologically diametrically opposed. And not only that, which is okay, nothing wrong with that, but if you're putting money, for instance, towards a campaign or a candidate that is not supporting the things that matter to me outside of direct selling, I have a problem with that.
Well, plus, I mean, he better not be telling his field that they don't have money for their compensation plan or something else, and then $1 million, a lot of money that could be given to the field who's out there doing work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Rather than just throw it at a candidate. But, I guess they have the right to do that. I am, like you, surprised that he would say it represented all the field. That's
Yeah. And then not only all the field, but put it in 3 divisions of Asia. I mean, international dollars coming in. It's like, okay.
Wow.
I guess here we go. This is it. Direct selling is in the game. This is it. This is the opening. And there's not much anyone can do about it. I mean, Citizens United really opened up the floodgates for all of this. Lisa, we don't have much more time, but I want to ask you something. Avon, a company I absolutely love, and hearing that they won or were awarded the best place to work for lesbians and gays and bisexuals by the Human Rights Foundation, I just think that's absolutely amazing. It caused Avon to make our Power 50, which we announced last week. They came in at number 23 because of this, after such a rough year in 2011. It was such a game changer socially for direct selling. With that said, Avon is one of the largest cancer walk foundations and just cancer foundations, not only in the United States, but in the world. If you really can't do a cancer walk without thinking of typically one of 2 foundations. That would be Avon or the Susan G. Komen Foundation. The Susan G. Komen Foundation just got themselves into a bit of hot water. I think this is one of these things that's going to separate Avon in their walk for breast cancer from Susan G. Komen. I don't know and don't expect you to say a lot on this topic, but do you have a comment at all about it?
I've actually participated in 3 of them down in Boston. Very, very hard to do, by the way.
Which one? You participated in what?
The Avon Walk for Breast Cancer. Okay. I did 3 of them, and I raised, I think, between the 3 of them about $15,000 myself.
Wow.
And but that is a hard thing to do. But I like that they are very conscious about how much is raised, what percentage goes right to their cause rather than administrative costs. They really took a look at that. They used to hire a company to do it for them, and now they hire their own at the Avon Foundation to manage it themselves, so that more of the money will go where it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
So, you know, they've done it for a lot of years. I think this is their 10th anniversary this year of having the walks. And
well,
they really did a job.
I think it's really interesting because Susan G. Komen has gotten themselves into a lot of hot water. And I think a lot more women are going to sign up for the Avon Walk. You already had thousands of women, tens of thousands of women already, but so many women are really upset with what happened over there. And I just think there's going to be some serious separation. I think it's going to be a boon for Avon, quite frankly, which, of course, I'm very, very happy to hear anyway. Before we go, is there anything you would like to leave with us? If someone wants to contact you, because even though we're talking about politics here in the political bloggers thing, tell us a bit about you and how your business is going and if people want to contact you.
Actually, I got a new book coming out.
Oh, really?
So, yes, it's called Mastering the Art of Success, and I'm one of the contributors. Three of the other contributors you probably know really well, Les Brown, Mark Victor Hansen, and Jack Canfield. So I'm in one of their books.
Nice.
That's coming out pretty soon. But if people want to contact me or talk more with me about the politics and stuff, I do have a Facebook fan page, and that's facebook.com/winnerinU, and my regular website is winnerinU.com. So they can drop on by and connect with me.
Now, you've been with Avon for 30 years, at least, correct?
Yes, since 1981.
Okay.
You're just an absolute icon over there. If someone wants to learn more about potentially joining you in the Avon business, where would they go?
Oh, they can, actually, if they connect with me on Facebook or write me, lisa@winnerinU.com, I can give them all the details. We can sign people up nationwide online, so I can just tell them, and actually, you know how we're doing the Skype video, we certainly can do that, and I support team members. I have people in 36 states. And I think every single one of them would tell you they get excellent support from me. So it doesn't matter where they live, I can help them out. And we also sell products that way, too, online. So it's a pretty technology-based business right now. And I love it that way because I live out in rural New Hampshire. So to be competitive with my peers, I use the Internet a lot and love it.
Very, very good. Very, very good. Lisa, thank you very much. I know we've got you up a little bit late here, but I want to thank you very much for coming on and talking about the political bloggers. We're very excited to see what you have to write about and what people have to say about it.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad you included me.
Take care now. Bye-bye.
Bye.
When my mother used to sell Princess House.
Join them way that night.
Norma siempre vendía cosas de Avon.
Oh, it must have been around 1935.
But those knives were amazing.
The one lady's name was Mary Kay, and I said, oh, cosmetics will never sell on party plan.
Was a single mom and created these hair care products for black women and became the first self-made millionaire in the United States. I just think that's extraordinary.
That's Lisa WILBER. She is one of the most knowledgeable people in all of direct selling when it comes to politics. She has run for political office, as you know, 6 times and is now gearing up for her 7th run for office in New Hampshire. Politics is really impacting direct selling. There's no doubt about it, and it has been for years. I know that there are more and more company owners beginning to come forward with their views on politics and what they want the course of America to look like. If you think this doesn't impact you, your business, your family, or your entire life, you have got to wake up. It appears as though not only are outside forces trying to buy the elections here in the United States, it also appears that some of the owners here in direct selling are trying to buy the White House as well. What do? That's up to you. But I think for me, it's time to take a step back and reevaluate who is who and why, because as I said in my conversation with Lisa, if these owners have ideological differences with you and the money that they're pouring into politics completely goes at odds with what you're trying to achieve, I think you've got a problem. I think we all have a problem. But the best thing about all of this is the transparency of it. It's that we're finally getting in the political conversation. This is what we've always wanted, and it's now here. Thanks, Lisa Wilber, for coming by. Next time, we will see you here on Air.